Let's keep it going. The KUM News Zoom room where we have standing by Public Auditor BJ Cruz. Good morning, Auditor. Unmute your microphone. There you go. Thank you for joining us, BJ. We wanted to bring you on because I don't know if your ears were burning yesterday. Was that yesterday?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, we had the GHURA Executive Director, Ray Topasna, on the show to
Explain away the approval.
When it just was a real cluster furlough of an interview because the board approved the raises, and then the public was pissed off about it, and so then they said, "Oh, we're not going to get the raises now," probably because the public was pissed. But then he kind of played it off and said, "Oh, we never intended to. I wasn't ever going to get the raise." But anyway, why I brought you on was because he kept saying that this had something to do with the Office of the Public Auditor.
Well, actually, Chris, my ears have been burning all weekend. I woke up on Saturday morning to find the news story and was excoriated. I mean, I was just exorcised. I was so furious. I sent off a whole bunch of emails and texts to individuals, just that I couldn't believe what had happened. We had met for an hour on Thursday. And on Thursday, we were talking about the audit that we were doing about GHURA and pay raises of the prior administration and some issues that relate to the current administration. And in that hour, he never mentioned that he was planning on implementing or getting the board to pass the increase the next day. In fact, the chairman of the board was on the meeting, and he never mentioned that the board had it on its agenda for the next day. And I was just mad because when they told me that they had approved this in June and they had made it retroactive to January, I told them, I said, I would caution you that there is public law that prohibits retroactive pay for unclassifieds. I kind of know about the law because I think I may have actually written it. And,
You don't say.
Yeah. And so the HR person insisted that no, this was a performance audit, performance evaluation, and that though it was done in June, it was due last January, and so therefore it could be retroactive. I just said, well, speak to your legal counsel and make sure that you guys comply, because for me, the issue was getting things, the process and complying with the law. But the other thing that really upset me was on Saturday morning, I woke up, I found out about this article because I got a text from a constituent who was chiding me and teasing. They said, oh, GHURA got a 4% increase. And the board must have ignored your audit and your complaints about the fact that GHURA was so late. And that's the thing that really upset me, was because people don't understand, and even the news reporter that did the story today in the paper only relegated it to a very loud one sentence at the very end of the article about the fact that GHURA's delayed completion of its audit this year was what delayed the GovGuam audit. The GovGuam audit was issued on the last day of August, just as the legislature was voting on on the budget. I had planned, since I had gotten to the auditor's office, that I wanted the audits out early. So all the contracts with the external auditors has a deadline of March the 31st. Unfortunately, that was, in the middle of the first lockdown. And so many of them weren't completed, but many of them were completed subsequently in the month of April and early May. But GHURA went all the way to the end of June. It wasn't ready, into July and into August before it was completed. I wanted to issue the GovGuam audit on June 31st, like it is supposed to be done by statute. But I had to bite my tongue and grit my teeth, because if I had issued it on June 31st, the external auditors would have put made the audit qualified, because of the fact that we were missing a significant component of the government of Guam's finances, GHURA, in that audit. And I couldn't chance that, because if that went into the audit for financial audit for this year, that was GovGuam's financial audit, the bond market would have thrown us into the deepest junk pile that they possibly could. And there was a possibility that the federal agencies would cease dealing with us and providing us grants. And I didn't want GovGuam to turn out to be like what we're having with GDOE, with a third-party custodian having to watch what's going on. But GHURA is right at the verge of that. I mean, this delayed audit, making reconciliations late into July and into August, and then having as many compliance problems as they did, could possibly be reason for HUD to find that a third-party custodian should be brought in to overlook the operations.
Hold on there, BJ. Hold on just a second, because I just want to read this quote here from our story yesterday, where we quote the GHURA director. Where's that at? He had said that, I'm stretching here, I can't find the damn story. Basically, he said he gets paid a lot of money because he does such an awesome job over. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is a quote from your buddy Ray T. I get paid a lot of money because I think our organization is doing extremely well. A lot better than what's going on at the legislature. That's for sure. Emphasis added on my part.
I heard that yesterday. I mean, I couldn't believe that. I mean, really seriously, people don't understand the jeopardy that agency placed the entire government of Guam in by the fact that its audit was so delayed. Because of what happened to GHURA, I have since August issued a directive to all the agencies that by yesterday, they were all supposed to have provided my office with a copy of a Gantt chart wherein they list all of the milestones or the important components of their audit, and they give me a date by which they expect to have completed all of those items and listed everything. And GHURA finally got theirs in last night, but that's the way that I'm having to treat all the agencies. And now I'm going to have my auditors babysit each of these departments every month to make sure that they meet their milestone completion dates on that Gantt chart, because I want the audit out in time for the legislature to be able to write its budget, know how much was spent, know how much was saved, know how much was lost as they write the budget and as they deliberate on it. I'm mortified. I am really embarrassed, and I apologize to the legislature that I couldn't get it out until the day that they were voting on the budget. Right. And I have full intention to not repeat that next year.
So basically,
fact,
you're saying basically that you were ready to come out of the GovGuam audit, but you had to sit or wait around for Ray Topasna and GHURA to turn in all their paperwork.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm thinking about writing to Senator Chalahi because she had a bill that was going to make it a statutory requirement that March 31st be the date that the audits were to be completed. And I wrote to her and I said, I've already put that into the contracts. Maybe this might not be necessary. But after this experience, it's absolutely necessary. And in fact, I may ask her to put a provision in there that states that any agency that does not issue a timely and a clean audit or audits with multiple compliance issues, that the board of directors of that agency is precluded from granting that director and deputy any increment for that year.
BJ, so are we getting a GHURA audit? Because Ray was kind of talking about we're getting a GHURA audit. And then also I wanted to ask, because we had him on yesterday, and man, he said a lot of stuff. One of the things he said was that the feds wanted him to run GHURA.
I don't know. Well, the feds now see how he operates it and how he can't get his audits out, and they have a compliance report from the external auditors showing how well he's done with the programs. With all the money, additional money that they believe they have and could spend on increasing all their salaries, I think they could better invest in hiring a team of accountants and auditors for various programs. They have lots of work there. They really do. I mean, I understand that. But they need to have someone out at each one of the programs to be able to do reconciliations on a monthly basis, and as that month ends, within a couple of days after the end of the month, everything is reconciled. We don't wait until 15 months later in July, you make a reconciliation for the previous July or March. That's just unconscionable, especially when it jeopardizes the entire government of Guam's operation because your audit is so late.
Do you have a problem with Ray Topasna's honesty, PJ?
I said to someone, we have our own Mr. Trump.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, his lies yesterday were just unbelievable, and he's able to do it with a straight face. To say what was it he did on your show? Well, the board of commissioners let me operate things, and they won't stop me from not implementing my salary increase. Well, no, they'll figure out some way when we're not looking to implement that. The only way to take care of that is for the board to meet and rescind it. Because when we did an audit of the GHURA salaries, there have been various adjustments along the way. He may have started with 136, and then the next salary was supposed to be 153. They increased it to 144 somewhere, and we couldn't figure out where that was at.
Yeah.
They had increased the salary for the entire department, and they were giving the new salaries to them, and they were huge. I mean, since January of 2019, they've gotten 4 different salary increases for a total of $22,000 and $23,000 each.
Yeah, our Peter Santos had written a pretty gangbuster story about this, and He detailed that, yes, Ray Topasna was hired at GHURA in January of 2019 at a salary of $137,000. While this recent 4% raise approved by the board is making headlines, Topasna had already received what we calculated as an $18,000 raise in October of 2019, just 9 months after he was hired, bringing his salary to $155,000, not including benefits.
Hey, the deputy also.
And the deputy also, yes. So what's this
Yes.
audit going to say, BJ? Or go ahead, please.
The other thing that I think we should start thinking about is, I understand, we at the legislature gave the autonomous agencies the authority to implement their own certified technical professional salaries, CTPs it's called in GPA and GWA and the port. But the thing is that those salaries are for people that have certifications, people that have the technical skills, and individuals that have professional degrees in those areas, like the engineers that you have GPA and GWA. But for the political hacks that are brought in to take over the departments whenever the administration turns over, they've had no previous certification, technical or professional experience in that, warranting the exorbitant salaries that they're getting. The CTP was meant for certified technical and professional persons, not for political hacks.
BJ, in the interview yesterday, Ray kept saying that, there's an audit coming out, and he was kind of alluding that the audit would somehow, this is, a loose translation on my part, very loose, would somehow make us think that he deserved like a 40% raise. You know what I mean? So he kept saying that. And when's the audit coming out? And can you give us any preview? Although it does sound like you did already.
It's not. One of the things that the process, they've gone through the process. I have to commend him for making sure that they comply with the process. The law requires that 6 months after you're hiring, there's to be a performance audit, and then 12 months every 12 months thereafter. And that the law also requires that the board had to ratify the performance evaluations. It's true that in the past, GHURA had problems with complying with the statute. Currently, the board is complying. It ratified it on Friday as per the law. But it questions their performance evaluation of someone when if you just look at, if someone just takes the time to read their audit, the audit does not speak well for the management. The financial audit.
Right. Well. Anything in closing you want to add, BJ, specifically about Ray Topasna's character?
No, I just am really appalled. Really seriously. I can't repeat it on public air, so that's fine. Thank you very much for allowing me to come on.
Of course.
Thank
Text me
you.
it, and I'll do a loose translation.
I think appalled was pretty strong.
Yeah, appalled was right.
That was a kick in the gut.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we get Ray to come on tomorrow to respond to what you said, and then maybe we could get you guys on together. I don't think Ray wants this smoke, though. We'll see. I hope he does. I hope he does. Thank you, BJ.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you. Wash your hands.
Will do.
Oh my gosh.
Damn, boy.
No further questions.
Yeah, I rest my case, Your Honor. No, I'm going to reach out to Ray because, like I told Ray yesterday, man.
Did he say liar?
He said, yeah.
Lies?
mm,
Okay,
something like-
no,
You know,
I
I
was-
haven't. You
Okay,
know,
I was taking notes because we're,
Oh, Jay was taking notes.
No,
Thank you,
because we use these for the captions for like the YouTube clips,
Uh-huh.
and the specific quote was he goes when Public Auditor B.J. Cruz speaking about GHURA Executive Director Ray Topasna, he said, "quote His lies are unbelievable, and he does it with a straight face."
oh my goodness.
And then he also said he's appalled by his character and that he can't repeat what he thinks of it on public airwaves.
Yeah, we definitely need to get Ray on just to defend.
Right. You got to defend your honor, Ray.
Yeah.
Got to come on, Ray, and you got to defend your honor. Your good name has been further besmirched by the public auditor. And I don't think you should let this stand. I don't think you should let this stand.
I want to go read this audit. Is this the one that's coming out in 2 weeks?
Well, so what he basically was saying was that they were waiting for GHURA to turn in their part for the whole government-wide
Yeah.
financial audit, and they got it. So I guess we got some reading to do. When I say we, I mean...
You mean Peter?
yeah, Peter Santos, the Gangbusters reporter. Hey, it's 9:52.
Welcome to the team, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, right on. We take a short break and we're going to come back and close out the show with our partners in the Thrive Coalition. That's next on The Link. It's The Breeze.